family breakups can one of the biggest reasons why men commit suicide, why they fall into depression. And I know that fathers need their children and children need their fathers, mothers need their children and children need their mothers. So it's very important that we get family law as protective as we can. It's always a question, I think, when it comes to these issues, though, that we have to deal with each case as it comes. And I can't imagine that if you're a judge on the family law courts, it would be an easy job, because there must be many difficult situations where it gets very difficult to decide, you know, the rights of the parents, the rights of the separated parents, the mother, the father and the children. But ultimately we must always have the children's interests at heart first. But I think it's also important that when we make changes or do anything, that we make sure that both parents are also given equal consideration. And so that is why I have chosen to speak on this bill, because I'm concerned that this bill is going to repeal the presumption of shared parental responsibility. Now, my understanding of shared parental responsibility is that it doesn't automatically guarantee that parents do get 50-50 time with their children, and it doesn't. It also has a carve-out in the cases of where there is violence involved. So, you know, obviously, if the father is violent or if the mother is violent, then obviously, you know, that presumption is quickly removed so that the child isn't exposed to anything that could be dangerous. But I do think, though, where it's key is when it comes to decision-making in regards to what happens with the child. And there are many circumstances whereby both parents, and I believe this, should have an input into decisions being made about the child's future. You know, something I've encountered just recently in the last 18 months to do with the COVID vaccines was I was contacted by an enormous number of parents who had separated, and one parent wanted their child vaccinated and the other child didn't want their other parent didn't want their child vaccinated, and there wasn't obviously much I could do about it. But it was just one example of whereby parents had different views as to what was in the best interests of the child. So how you work these things out can't be easy, but we need to make sure, though, that both parents do have a say on those type of arrangements. And the other thing that I'm concerned about with this bill is the removal of the word meaningful, in the sense that the child should have a meaningful relationship. So the existing bill says that, you know, we should try and ensure that a child has a meaningful relationship with the parent. The word meaningful is being removed. Now, I don't really know why you'd need to remove the word meaningful. It just seems, you know, and like I said, all of these things, when you get in a court of law, and I did study Masters of Tax Law, and you'd be amazed at the mental gymnastics that even in something as simple as tax and numbers, how they could you know, manipulate words to have different meanings. So I think we should keep that word meaningful in the Family Law Act, because it is important that a child has a meaningful relationship with both parents to the maximum extent possible. So the cynic in me is fearful that taking this word out of the Act may work against you know, a certain parent. It may be used against a certain parent. It may become harder for that parent to actually justify getting time with the child. And the other thing is too, while I think that it is important that the child wants to spend, you know, has a say in how much time they spend with the parents, ultimately we need to make sure that, you know, that particular provision there, where we're going to give greater powers to the child as to who they spend time with, it isn't actually used by one parent against another parent, because, you know, I do know fathers in particular who have lost their children, and if they've lost their children, they actually lose their purpose in life, and it's a very, very important issue. And I know as I've gotten older and I've had a great, wonderful life, but nothing gives me a greater sense of purpose than being a father and spending time with my children. So I just hope that I would ask Labor to reconsider some of these amendments. I'm not sure that they're in the best interests of the entire family outfit, whether it's together or separated, and to reconsider these amendments. Thank you.
Authorised G. Rennick, LNP Chermside.